A few months, say about a year ago, we got a visit from the United States Air Force Academy, and they said, what are you guys doing? We hear about this thing called the Army Cyber Institute. We met with their dean, we met with some of their leaders, and we kind of gave them a brief. A few weeks ago, we see this beautiful slide that says, this is what Army is doing, this is what Navy is doing, this is what Air Force is doing. And then we look at it and say, well, at least let's inform them, let's make sure they get it right. But they wanted to, the initiative, the thought process is everybody's going to do their own thing, and it really is compelling what they're trying to do, and we want to help them be really good at what they're going to do. With that, you're about to hear what the Air Force is doing with cyber.
Well, good afternoon. On behalf of Lieutenant General Michelle Johnson, the Superintendent of the Air Force Academy, and Brigadier General Andy Armacost, our Dean of Faculty, it's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Jim Solti. I'm a 1988 graduate from the Air Force Academy. I spent 25 years on active duty, recently retired. I come from a targeting, weaponeering, capabilities development world where I spent a lot of time thinking about how do I integrate cyber capabilities with other non-kinetic and kinetic options to create combat effects in strange places around the world. So that's kind of the lens I approach when I think about the Air Force Cyber Innovation Center, right? The AFKIC, and what is this? Really, it's a nascent concept. And again, the lens I approach is one of technology innovation, so both offensive and defensive, to exploit vulnerabilities, to defend against those vulnerabilities, to apply technology, so thinking about CONOPS, TTPs, as well as the policy and the statutory requirements, constraints and restraints that go along with that. So, and it's one about educating, training our workforce, not only our cadets, but our joint workforce, both within the military as well as in our partner sector on the private side. So one thing I try to emphasize about the Cyber Innovation Center is this is not an academy initiative. This is an attempt, it's an Air Force-wide look to get our arms around and better align the cyber enterprise that we're looking at. It's been directed by General Welsh, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. It has great support from General Hyten at Space Command, Lieutenant General Bender, the A6 at the Pentagon, as well, of course, the Superintendent of the Academy, General Johnson. So what the heck is an AFKIC? So the premise is really twofold. First is that corporate America is much more efficient at technology innovation than the federal government, right? You all do it faster, better, cheaper. You're great at envisioning and bringing to bear technologies at market speed, right? So as such, the Air Force needs to figure out a way to better position ourselves to leverage that and to understand that capability. And we at the Air Force Academy want to be a test bed for the Air Force, right? After all, that's why the Air Force has an Air Force Academy, I would hope, right? So in the Air Force, we like to talk, and I forgive me for this parochial tagline, but we like to talk about how we fly, fight, and win in airspace and cyberspace. And in the air domain, we may take a decade and build an F-35, right? We may launch a $20 billion satellite, and we can maintain our asymmetric advantage there. Although even that world's changing, right, with access to space, CubeSats, small UAVs. But really, in those domains, we're platform-centric. But as we heard all day today, is that in the cyber domain, disruptive technologies may come out of a garage, right, from the over-caffeinated MIT graduates, or we may find it on a shelf for $35 at Best Buy, right? And so how do we operate in this new paradigm? So the premise is, the second premise and assumption of the AFKIC is that we have to do a much better job at developing our cyber warriors. I like to say, if I want to create a great cyber analyst, go ahead, send them to Carnegie Mellon. If I want to create a cyber warrior, send them to one of the service academies, right? It's this mindset of how to partner, how to innovate, how to integrate the cyber domain, again, for the profession of arms. And so I hope this next comment is taking the spirit in which I offer it, and that is my role at the Academy is to graduate 1,000 cadets each year who go out in the Air Force, and they're wholly dissatisfied, right? They're dissatisfied at how we partner, how we innovate, and the technology they have. Not so much dissatisfied that they go to work for all of you, but that they become, right? They become the catalyst for change. And so that's really the beginnings of what the AFKIC is. And so I know we're short on time here, so I'll just close by saying the Army has people. You heard about the 75 billets, right? The Navy has this beautiful new building, $120 million of your tax money. I have two things. I have that poster out here, and I have a Service Academy rivalry. So for those of you who bleed blue, I think I'll just end by saying, go Air Force, beat Army and Navy. Thanks.